problem when you have a fire like this and then you don't come back and replant the hill with something, you get a lot of erosion. Look at the rocks. You get all this earth that's just left out now to the wind and the rain, and it's on a hill, so you're naturally going to have erosion anyhow. And then you're such a dumbass that, well, first of all, you light the place on fire, but secondly, you don't come back and plant anything, even do a hydro seed or something just to get some ground cover on here. You lose a lot of your topsoil, and you end up with this rugged scrub brush. Buckbrush here is garbage. Very flammable. So I'm trying to get some more shade on this forest floor. That's probably a third-year tree right there. Trying to get a little shade, a little protection from the weather on this hill here. Look at all the rocks. They just start coming out of the ground. And get some organics back on here. Pine needles, leaves, whatever. It's going to fall off this new trees. Oh, the new little baby trees. Pretty damn cool. This is really stupid of me to be walking around here in the middle of the day. I gotta get out of here. A burnt out tree stump. Yeah. A lot of trees on this side. It's a nice, let me see, sunset's in the west. West is over there. So these guys are a little protected. There's, just down from these power lines, there's a 40-acre strip of land back about in here. That's on the back part of my property line. That's the one I talked about in a previous video about looking to purchase possibly on this trip, probably on this trip. It's all timberland. It's not grazing land by any means, but it's got a bunch of great pine trees on there. It's great trees. I think it's well worth, if I can get it for what I want to get it for. It's got a good inventory of trees. To me, that makes it very valuable. And then of course the sawmill, right? More than a year ago now, I think. I'm gonna walk and talk here a little bit because I'm walking right through the middle of the brush here, this buckbrush. I gotta make sure there ain't no snaky snakes here. I don't even have a stick. I have to throw a rock at them. Not very well planned out. I hadn't planned on walking through here. But anyway, there are a lot of long-term plans for this place. I don't know how much I'll get shown on YouTube necessarily, because you really want to watch trees grow. This is, like I said, this is an ongoing project to get this place reforested, to try to keep the trees spaced apart well, to get the diseased and bug-eaten trees out of here quickly, so they don't get to be a feeding ground and a host for bacteria and crap that's going to kill the rest of the trees. So I'm trying. Here's another tree that's, he left a lot of debris on the ground too, which isn't horrible. It's not horrible because it does provide organic nutrition for the soil, especially since it gets just beat up by the rain and wind. It's interesting. All these years, 20 years later, still have charcoal. And actually, quite a few of the bigger trees. I'm in baby tree land right now. A lot of the bigger trees still have the charred bark, where they got licked by the fire, but they survived. Yikes! So you know, half the sawmill is up here. You guys, I don't know if you've been watching for a while. You remember I brought it must have been 2 years ago now. I'm gonna have to check. I brought the trailer up here, and that sits up back behind the garage there. You know, it'll happen. The sawmill will happen. Everything in good time. Got 100 other things going on up here that are more time sensitive than that. If I can get that 40 acres on the back side here, that'd be kind of cool. You know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not counting my chickens. Chickens? We talked about chickens. So this is about where the fire stopped. You could see the line. You could see the line of mature trees, baby trees. But they're coming. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Get these trees growing, and just makes the land more valuable. Makes my income earning potential on this property that much greater if I need to sell some trees. I don't see the price of lumber going down anytime soon, so that's it. And of course the Suburban ran like a champ. Half of the Sawmill project is here already. You guys remember I brought this up a year and a half ago? Geez, maybe 2 years ago now. Seems like it was forever. But it made it up here. Here's the log bed for the sawmill. The carriage is going to run along this angle iron on either side. The axle is an old boat axle. If you remember, I don't know if you remember how it's constructed. Maybe you haven't seen those videos, but that's an old boat drop axle that my neighbor had taken out of his trailer when he spun a bearing and damaged a spindle. So I chopped the spindles off and I put spindles out of a late 80s 1 ton, or it's actually a 3/4 ton, excuse me, an 8 lug. 3/4 ton Chevy truck that was getting scrapped out. So I took the front axles and the front tires, I took the front spindles and the front tires, 16-inch heavy duty tires. Awesome. Hey, this thing made it. I still have the safety chains because I'm a weirdo like that, and I wasn't sure how this was going to make it. I looped some chain around where a tie rod, the center drag link, would actually connect into right there, and I looped a chain around the frame of the trailer, bolted it back into the control arm, or the spindle. Why do I keep calling it a control arm? Just in case those spindles broke free. I don't know, man. Weld breaks happen, and I was taking it on a 300-mile journey, so it had to make it. The way this is designed is I have bolts. There are 3 bolts, one there and one there. I can pull the pins and drop this axle completely out and set this log bed on the ground, and then that way I'm not rolling logs over the top of these wheels. Makes sense. Just lift up the back of the trailer, the axle drops out, boom, slide it out, and away you go. And then you can set this on this whole rack on the ground, or if you want to put it on some short blocks to let the sawdust through. Piece of cake. Propane. Oak trees. Yep, let's go look at the Farmall. Here's where the old Farmall sits. Look how little that engine is. See, I look at this thing, I come up here and I look at this thing, and the engine is like that, right? It's tiny. I could lift that up by hand. I mean, what does it weigh? A couple 100 pounds, if even? Here's where it sits. At least it's out of the weather. I haven't done anything to it since I first, dragged it home and did the autopsy on the engine, and realized just how bad a shape the cylinders were in. Steering is still frozen, but I believe it's in the control head here, because I'm not getting any movement down there and no movement up here. So my first guess is this. I haven't disconnected the steering box, but yeah, I haven't put a torch to it either. I just kind of let it be after I saw the engine was so bad. But yeah, the plans for the Farmall is it will get put together. There's a dog. It will get put together, just not right away, not anytime soon. Dog. Yep. Yeah, it's very cool. The bed frame utility trailers are still working like a champ. Built those out of bed frames. Piece of 1.25 subfloor. That was an overbuy on a job, and just scrap lumber. That's an old boat trailer that I sectioned out about 18 inches or so. These things are 4x4. These are just some spindles off an old scooter or something that I welded onto a bar, made a frame out of it, or made an axle out of it. I can't talk today. Something's going wrong in my brain, I think. Woodshed's full. Where are we? We can't balance that. We got no light. Balance. There we go. Got 7 foot tall of wood Ton of wood. Found a new burn barrel on Craigslist. It's in awesome shape. It's got the screen and everything. These folks bought this burn barrel, and then they heavily restricted burn barrel burning in their area, so it just sat, and they gave it away, and I brought it up here for when the one that we're currently using rots out. Yeah, there's the planer. There's that planer that came out of a real sawmill. Oh, wait, go back. There it is. That was involved. That's the one. I think I've talked about that one before. It was involved in a fire. They had a big sawmill fire up here. There's a mill up here on the mountain, and the planer and the joiner, there's the joiner right there, and the planer were involved in the fire. They didn't have any direct flame contact, but everything electrical was ruined by the heat. This one needs new rubber rollers, and the joiner's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The blades are in good shape. Everything about it's in fantastic shape. I just need to put a new motor on it, wire it up. This one, the planer, needs new rollers, which I can get. Those are still readily available, but those are high-end planers and joiners, so I'm excited about getting that project. I'm gonna bring those home one of these days after the sawmill's done. Everything is after the sawmill's done. Needs some firewood. And there's where she sits. Hot dog, where are you? You're in the shade, we can't see you. Well, that's it. I think that about culminates any project of any interest that you guys might find interesting, or maybe you don't, maybe you do, hard to say. There's the bat house, there's the birdhouse, there's babies in that birdhouse. Every night I see them flying in and out eating bugs. That's what I like. Alright guys, I gotta run. Talk to you later. See ya.